Hi and welcome to the kitchen today. We are gonna be making chocolate almond granola bars, and these are gluten, dairy, soy, corn, and refined sugar free. So they're great for people with sensitivities and allergies. So we're gonna get started, and right away what we're gonna do is I have here a cup of real raw and pasteurized honey, so you can see how thick it is in the bowl here, as well as 2 cups of coconut oil. So this is gonna be partially what's gonna hold and bind the granola bar together. So we'll add this into the pot right away. It's all nice and sticky and gooey. And then we're gonna take this over to the stove right away, and we're gonna melt all of this, and then we'll mix everything else in after. So I love using honey for this recipe, like I said, because once we get it nice and melted, it helps to bind together as well. It's a natural sweetener, so it's not gonna spike our blood sugar as much as using a corn syrup or refined sticky honey that's very syrupy, or a refined sugar like a white sugar. So we have the coconut oil and the honey mixing in the pot, and it is bubbling right now, and that is how we know that it is where we want it to be, and that is just about medium heat depending on your stove. So then we can go ahead and turn the heat off actually. We're just gonna mix in a tablespoon of vanilla in there, and we have got our honey and coconut oil mixed together. So now we're gonna take this back and mix in all the other ingredients. And just to show you how beautiful this looks, it should be all nice and blended together. So that coconut oil and that honey should mix together. They should not be separated at all when you blend this. If it is still separated when you have it on the stove, you may not have boiled it enough or let it bubble. So letting it bubble makes it combine like this. So that is magic. So now we're gonna add everything else. This is the fun part. So we're gonna start with the oats. I always start with the oats first. So this is 4 cups of oats. So this is a gluten-free oat. It's from Only Oats, and you can get this at Market 17 as well as everything else you see on this table. So really easy to go and pick up everything there, but these are not contaminated. So these, I find a lot of celiacs can eat these too, as well as gluten intolerant people. So 4 cups of oats we have going in to this mixture of honey and coconut oil. And I start to just mix this in first. I usually just blend one ingredient, and then we will add some of the other delicious things going in here. So then after that, we will be adding a cup of shredded unsweetened coconut. So I usually just kind of guesstimate with my hands, or you can measure it out, but we've got that going in there, which adds a nice little flavor of sweetness. We've got slivered almonds. You could use whole ones if you want to, but I prefer slivered because then there's more little chunks spread throughout. So we add about a cup of almonds in there as well, or you could use any other kind of nut you like. So you could put in pecans or cashews, pumpkin seeds, whatever is your preference. Next, we're gonna be adding the cacao nibs. So these are real chocolate broken down from a cacao bean into a nib. So this adds some crunch, some extra texture. So I like to add about a half a cup to a cup of cacao nibs into that. And then I'm gonna give that a nice mix. I always like to mix this a bit before I add the chocolate chips in the end, just because I find the chocolate chips melt really quickly, right? So we wanna get everything else in here, and then when we mix in the chips, it makes a nice chocolate mixture. So we can see here everything is mixing together nicely. You could use this recipe and add different ingredients if you wanted to add dried fruit, or you wanted to add cinnamon, or some people like to add shredded apple, shredded carrots. So you can really make this into kind of a superfood granola bar recipe. So the sky's the limit. So last but not least, we're going to add the chocolate chips. So these are dark chocolate chips, and these are naturally sweetened. So I love these because, again, we're not getting all that refined sugar. So I like to add about a cup. You might want to add a bit more, a little bit less, depending on how much you like chocolate, but you can't add enough into this recipe. So we're going to add our chocolate chips. We'll put a lot today. How about that? And we'll give it one final mix before we put it onto our cookie sheet to cool and set. And then we'll be having these delicious granola bars. So there we go, look at that, that looks amazing. So we wanna mix it really well so that we make sure we get all the honey and coconut oil into that mixture, and as well that we've evenly gotten all of the ingredients mixed in well so that you don't bite into a piece and it's all just coconut or just almond. But you can see how the chocolate chips melt into that, so it's gonna be a nice, really chocolatey bar. Okay, so now that we have it all mixed really well, we're gonna put it onto our cookie sheet. So I find the easy thing to do is to take a cookie sheet, line it with parchment so that you don't get any mess on the cookie sheet. It's easy to clean up afterwards. And we're gonna evenly distribute it onto the cookie sheet, and then we're gonna let it cool. So you could either put it in the fridge, or you could put it outside if it's cold outside, or you can put it in your freezer, and then it'll set for you. So like I said, you just put it all on the pan, get all the good stuff off the bottom. And I usually recommend using a spatula because it's the easiest thing to get all the good stuff. And then we will just evenly distribute it out. That's also the nice thing about a cookie sheet, because it's just a nice deepness for getting that perfect thickness of a granola bar. So this is perfect. So get that all. And this recipe, as you can see, makes quite a bit. So it's great for snacks. It's great to have this ready because you can just cut it up, and then you can put it into bags and take it to work. I often find it's easy to keep this in the freezer after you've sliced it, because then that way you can grab and go, so it's a good snack. I mean, if you don't like chocolate, you can leave out the chocolate, and like I said, there's other ingredients you can add in, so it makes it a very versatile recipe. Also, it's nice because, like I said, it's naturally sweetened. It doesn't have the gluten or the dairy, so it's a very allergen-friendly recipe. So if you have a friend or someone that you're not sure if they have some sort of allergy and you want to make some sort of treat, this is a great option. And for some people who like to have a lot of protein in their day, you could even add a couple scoops of your favorite protein powder into this recipe just to amp up the protein level of it as well. So there you go. We have our Amber-approved chocolate almond granola bars. We're gonna let these set, and then we'll slice them and show you what they look like when they're all finished. We're back in the kitchen and our granola bars have set. So now we're gonna slice some of them up. Definitely recommend to just use a knife or a pizza cutter if you have, and just go ahead and cut down, and whatever kind of slices you wanna do. I try to do kind of the same size as a regular granola bar. So probably about there. And then we just scoop it out. And there you have your piece of granola bar, and it's just that easy. So what I recommend to do is just slice it up into pieces, and then you can wrap them in saran or put them in little Ziplocs, keep them in the freezer. Then that way you can just grab and go whenever you need a quick pick-me-up or a quick snack. These are great to take to work or have taking around with you for the kids or whoever needs something quick. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the granola bars, and we will see you next time.